A leader's delegation. The 3 big wins of delegating and how to do it. Now, most people will understand that leaders delegate responsibilities and tasks. One of the best things that I've heard in a long time is that leaders don't do tasks, they do people. And one of the best ways to do that is to effectively delegate. Now, although that makes sense, it's not always the easiest thing for new leaders or existing leaders to delegate responsibility. And that could be for a lot of reasons. Maybe you're new to the team and don't want to rock the boat. Maybe you're being bullied by your team, and when you suggest new things or give and delegate tasks, you're met with opposition. Maybe it's ego and control. No one does it like you. No one does it like me. Therefore, I'm going to do it, otherwise they'll get messed up. Or simply, when people get promoted, they like doing the job they were initially hired to do. And because they and you do it so well, as a new leader, you stay in the weeds. And we don't allow our team or yourself to evolve professionally and personally. So what to do about that? The first thing we need to do is to be able to understand the 3 big wins. Win number 1 is that leaders create other leaders. Number 2, reduce your workload. And the third biggest win is being able to move up and move on. Let's talk about that very briefly. Number 1, the biggest win here is that leaders build other leaders. If at the simplest, you can remember that managers create followers. Managers crack the whip from behind, tell the task, and do the task and move forward. Leaders create other leaders. See, when you leave for vacation, when you leave for the weekend, when you want to take a life break so you can get away from work and all heck breaks loose, that's not leadership. Leaders build other leaders, knowing what they want to get out of working with and for you, how to match what they want to get out of it with what you know will advance them and help the organization. Building other leaders. Now, sometimes those leaders will stay. Sometimes those leaders get so good that they must move on. Both are a good thing because it makes you a gold standard when they move on to the community and the organizations out there. When they stay, it only enhances your team, creating a great space for people to come that are like that and want more from you and with you. Number 2, reducing your workload. When you start to delegate, you get to reduce your workload. We can all work at a breakneck pace to meet a deadline, to get the project done, to do this quarter's job. And that's significant. Says a lot about you and what you're willing to do. Now, when we magnify that, we compound that by day after day, week after week, month after month, decade after decade, what do you think is going to happen to your life professionally and personally? Being able to delegate will significantly reduce your workload and protect you from burnout. Also, knowing your people's superpower to match the delegated task with their superpower enhances not only your leadership and work-life harmony, but also theirs. The third biggest win is being able to move up and move on. You are in a professional position of leadership at your job. Congratulations to you. However, that might not be the last step or the last rung on that ladder. Perhaps you want to keep moving up. Perhaps you want to retire. But you can't, because no one else on your team or within the organization knows what you know and can do your job. So now you're stuck. And one of the worst things that a leader can do is leave the organization and the team that they worked so hard to build in shambles because they haven't created a leader, delegated appropriately, reduced their workload, built other leaders, and been able to move up to a newer position or to move out to retirement or something else. So know and respect those 3 big wins, and delegating will become a whole lot easier. Now, how the heck do we actually do it? Delegating will become easier when you have your one-on-one meetings consistently. If you've been following along in my articles, my videos, or my trainings and I've been to your site, or virtually, you know how big I am and how much impact it's made doing one-on-ones consistently. So whether you're doing them, bi-monthly, or you're doing them once every 2 weeks, maybe monthly, and you're sitting with your team, and what do you want to get out of our meeting today? Knowing what they want to get out of working with you and for you, meshing the goals. What a perfect time to now delegate some great tasks that will enhance their leadership and yours. Remember, at the end of that one-on-one meeting, come up with a plan on how this is going to fit and what their biggest takeaway was from the meeting. It will do great indirect and direct benefit for you and for them. The other part of how to delegate appropriately is knowing your people's list. In previous talks that I've given, videos that you've watched, I've talked about a leader's list. It would be a shame as a leader that you're delegating tasks to someone that already has 1,700 tasks. So many times leaders think the only thing on that person's list is what you as their leader gave them. See, when they're inspired and motivated, when they're a great employee, when they're a great teammate, other people know it too. So they're not only doing your task, but they may be doing 5 other favors for other people. In that one-on-one meeting, be sure that you are curious enough to know their list. And in delegating, to prioritize their list. So now they don't feel like they're letting you down. They don't feel like they're letting everyone else down in the organization. And they don't feel so swamped and overwhelmed that they're burnt out or bored out, becoming the negative Nick and Nancy on your team and in your organization. And the last thing on how to delegate is knowing your people's language. I'm honored to teach My Leader 7 all around the world. And it's the 7 languages that your people need, want, and benefit most hearing from leadership. So many times when leaders delegate a task, that employee, that person may feel like you're dumping your stuff on them. Wouldn't it help to know their language? Perhaps their language is knowledge and advancement. And it might sound great to say, hey, let me show you how to do this, so when I'm not here, you know how. That person that speaks that language loves that. Hey, let me show you how to do this, so when it's your time to move up. Or very simply, you mentioned your language was knowledge and advancement. Let me show you how to do this, so when it's your time, you know. Maybe their language is flexibility. Maybe it's goodie time. Maybe it's quality minutes. Whatever their language is, I suggest go back through my writings, check my book out, 7 Ways to Lead. It's all there. And now we can delegate and lead with their motivation. So now they're motivated, more motivated to do that task, enhancing not only their leadership and work-life harmony, but also yours and the organization as a whole. Guys, I hope that this resonated with you, because as a leader, and even if you're not one now, we're all leaders of our own life, and there's tasks that need to be delegated organizationally, professionally, and personally in our lives. Now we have an easier, more common sense way to do it, to be of impact. So if this resonated with you, I really hope that it did, and I hope that you use it moving forward. And if you like this, you're gonna love everything at youevolvingnow.com. That's YOU, evolvingnow.com. I look forward to you finding out more about what I do in my services. And I look forward to connecting with you to be of impact, not only for your organization, but for your leaders, your employees, and your teams. Guys, until next time, enjoy your evolution.